guys, and welcome to my channel where we talk about everything I am passionate about, past, present, and future. And what do I mean by that? Who knows? We'll find out in the future. I hope I'm lined up okay. I can't see what I'm doing. I can't see what's on the screen, so this is gonna be fun. Technology issues today, and we give up. We give up. I hope I look good. Like I said, I can't see what I look like. For all I know, the microphone is like up to here on me. Kind of wanted to do something a little bit different today, and by that I mean I need something that's a little bit quicker to edit because it is summer, and I am trying to balance starting to post videos and having something at least once a week with actually having a life. I gave it a few moments of thought, and I was like, what would be better than a random episode of Supernatural? So of course I picked the next one from where I am in my rewatch right now as today's episode. Season 13, Episode 11, Breakdown. So I am just coming with the assumption here that if you're watching this, you've probably watched Supernatural before. I've watched it a million times. And it's been over 5 years since it ended, so I am not going to be too mindful of spoilers. That being said, I do have brain fog right now. Pretty bad brain fog. I will forget plot points. I definitely did. I already wrote my script, so I know. I went through, I was like forgetting different things happen, but it all works out in the end. We're just here to have a good time. Imagine you're sitting back with me, hanging out, whatever kind of vibration you like, and we're watching a random episode of Supernatural together. We might not remember exactly where we are, but we keep pausing to talk about it, and that's kind of what this video is. So, grab your blanket or your snack or your drink or whatever, and let's start watching. We start the episode with an old-timey song playing as we see jars of what must be intestines. There's a dude who turns up the music, and we see a bunch of missing posters as he approaches a person hanging, and we hear the begging screams of his victims. We zero in on a truck stop where someone with climate and anti-pew-pew stickers is pulling in. Virtual signaling, they're trying to tell us right away that this is a really good, conscious human being. Her card is declined, and she goes in to pay at the station, which is literally a diner, truck stop, all combined into one. Everyone stares at her when she walks in, and pretty much the entire time she was there. The immediate reaction I have is, okay, which one of you is going to be her killer? Which one of you is going to take her down? She walks in with her Love is Love shirt and deals with the skeevy cashier and heads out absolutely as soon as she can. She notices a Jesus Saves truck and narrowly avoids the too close for comfort window washer and slides into her car, driving off the guy watching her leave. We cut to her on the side of the road trying to get someone to stop and help her, and a truck goes by completely ignoring her. She looks down and notices a spike in her tire before someone in a really creepy mask throws her to the ground, and boom! Intro! We come into a clock just turning 6 a.m. and Sam Winchester lying in bed. Suddenly, the clock changes to 8:22, and he is now on his stomach, staring at the clock. Dean knocks to tell him that he's making pancakes, but he completely ignores that, and then the clock moves on to 10, where it seems he has fallen back to sleep. I love doing this when my brain is so foggy, because is this from my own rewatch? Yeah, this is my own rewatch. Am I sitting here going, what is going on before this? I'm so confused. Yes, absolutely. I know the overarching theme to season 13, but Lord knows what it could have been right before. He wakes up and reaches over for his ringing phone, and we see him come out into the kitchen, and he puts his phone on speaker. It's Donna, and she fills in Dean on what she just told Sam. Her niece has gone missing, and the local cops are doing nothing, prompting Dean to ask for the address, and they head out right away. So yes, of course, that was Donna's niece, and her name is Wendy. And her odds of survival just went up. We cut to a very worried-looking Donna as the Impala approaches her. They embrace and exchange pleasantries. She tells them that the Stadies found the car on the side of the road with signs of a struggle. She was there taking a gap year, inspired by Donna herself doing so, which kind of makes her feel a little bit guilty, like she did this to her niece. Dean tells her not to blame herself, and to instead focus on the case. Dean heads in where Doug is talking to the locals. He looks over to the car and is interrupted by a man demanding to know who he is. And Dean gives a, first off, I'm not your son. Okay, Hamilton. Doug comes in and settles the tension, introducing Dean, the fake agent, to Ancient Clegg, real FBI. The guy is getting all, I need to contact your office, and Dean is like, okay, no, I'm just here on family business. Unofficially, as the victim is a family member. Doug takes a second confused look at Dean when he says this, and the agent invites over Dean to fill him in on the case. But before he can get over there, Doug has to confront Dean. Confused, they're cousins? Doug doesn't look very convinced by Dean's explanation, does he? The agent shows them on a map where the trooper's anonymous tip set them to get the car. They think they are dealing with a serial abductor. The guy follows a migratory pattern and leaves victims in his trace, no body ever found. They call him the Butterfly. Doug hopes no bodies means they're not actually gone, which Oh, sweet soul. This is supernatural. We cut to a hotel room where Dean is trying to get some information for the case from truckers. He gives the girl's description to everyone, and they say they will try to find her. Sam tells Dean that this is absolutely doing nothing, and Dean argues this worked for their father many times in the past. Sam, because of the whole FBI going after them, thinking they're dead but not really being dead thing, he wants to lay low. To him, it's playing with fire. So Dean suggests he can be the one to tell Donna that they're not going to look for her niece. Dean then accuses Sam of moping. The whole, pancakes, not wanting to come out for them, staying in bed when he's all bright and shiny early morning, annoyingly happy in the morning kind of person. Or as Dean says, Mr. Rise and freaking shine. Dean gives one of his you gotta keep moving pep talks over the recent struggles they have gone through between Jack and their mom and the whole other universe thing. And I can't lie, the whole other universe parallel stuff, it wasn't ever really my favorite. Did I like the dynamics and the interesting things that pulled into it? Yeah, I did. But knowing where it all kind of leads to, I don't know. I still kind of remain undecided. I think I have to watch with the intention of thinking about that. So maybe I'll just restart the season. Probably not, but maybe. Dean tells Sam that the only way out is through. They are then cut off by a woman on the radio, asking to meet in person, and gives Dean a location and a time. We now cut back over to the same room from the beginning of the episode, music playing at the same loud volume, and the same hand turning the volume up. We see Wendy with a blindfold, looking scared as the masked man approaches her, removing the blindfold, mocking her attempts at mercy and not answering why he is doing this. He calmly sets up a camera where she starts to beg for help. This is one of those moments that I can't help but think, if this show was The Boys, if Eric Kripke could do what he wanted to do here like he did with The Boys, how just right now we might see something a little bit more gruesome than what we actually get, which is nothing. Although the actual activity starts later, so I would argue maybe not right there, but still, something here would happen more sinister. Back at the FBI office, Sam arrives late. We see Donna holding some papers Agent Clegg handed her, and he immediately gives Sam a binder. And here we get the little bit of the humanity to the officer, the man who has dedicated the last 12 years of his life to finding the butterfly, which is what they call this killer. Binder has all the victims from all of the years. Based on the pattern, he has suspects, and one in particular he could never get anything concrete out of until now. And he had him there that night. We cut to seeing Pastor Diamond Don Hankey. What a name. Diamond Don Hankey. Kind of sounds like some weird outlaw name. Of course, Pastor Hankey over here does have a record. And by looking at him, I'm sure his record contains not just the drunkenly disorderly conduct and driving, and they tell us. No, I have a feeling he has some really sketchy shit that happens with him and children. Clegg shows them a bloody shirt they say they found in his truck, and Donna confirms it is Wendy's shirt, the same one we saw earlier. Meanwhile, Dean is talking to the woman that was on the radio. She tells him that she was in the diner that night, and while she doesn't normally get involved, she had to at this point. She had seen the girl once at the diner, and then the other time was when she was driving down the road and saw her pulled over to the side and still kept driving. She regrets it intensely. So she is the driver that we saw earlier. Dean asks her where the truck stop was. Dean asks her where the truck stop was, and the answer comes from Sam's mouth. Manny's Truck Stop and Cafe. He is interviewing the preacher, trying to get information. They show him Wendy's photo and another missing victim. He said he's seen the girl, but he's never laid eyes on the immigrant, and I am so with Sam with his reaction. Clegg says to focus on the girl, and he's met with the word lawyer. I love to see someone exercising their rights, but when it comes to this case, no. Although I should also say if they could do it to one, they could do it to the others. So, yay! Exercising your rights to a lawyer. Clegg tries to talk to him, and Sam ends up having to break the two of them up when Donna walks into the room and asks if she could talk to him for a second. Before we get to that, though, we are back in front of the truck stop, and Dean is meeting with Doug, receiving reports of every incident at the stop lately. I mean, there's been D&Ds, there's been urinations, nothing screaming secret kidnapper hunting ground. Doug then asks Dean if he thinks that Donna is going to be okay, and when Dean says he's not quite sure what he means, he has known her for years and has never seen her like this. She's barely talking to him. He thinks that she's hiding something from him. Oh, Dougie boy, she absolutely is. Dean tells him to just trust her. And we cut back to the preacher with Donna. He asks again for his lawyer, and Donna goes biblical, saying the Bible doesn't approve of lawyers, and gives him an entire quote, proving so from the actual text. I love when shows throw the holy roller hypocrisy right back in their face, like in Grey's Anatomy when Mr. Torres is trying to quote the Bible to Callie, and then she quotes the Bible right on back and says, "Jesus is my savior, not you, Daddy." He then, again, asks for his lawyer, and oh, sweet Miss Donna has the right response. Just a little nod here to the show that never was, The Wayward Sisters. I think it would have been incredible. I would have loved to have seen Donna more. I'm sure her niece would have been on that show. I absolutely am so crushed that, just like the Winchesters, it was never given a proper chance. It deserves its own praise, and maybe that'll come in a future video. She reminds him that in a small town on a Friday night, your luckiest option, your best case scenario, is a public defender by Monday, meaning he would sit in the cell for the next 2 days, and as she says, he can deal with that, or he can answer Donna's questions and get out of there. We leave him stewing on that, and we meet up again with Dean and Doug, starting to walk up to the truck stop and are offered oil and window washing by the guy from earlier, the one that was like way in Wendy's space. They ask him if he has seen Wendy, and for money, he keeps talking. Mentions the cashier closed up early and drove off right away after she left, not returning until dawn. Back to Donna. She's interrogating the pastor and asking him if his wife and kids know about the minors he has been picking up. I knew it. I mean, no, I literally knew it because I've seen the show before, but also knew it. He's made of flesh. He is a sinner. His wife knows, and they're working through it. We're gonna leave that one. Too many personal feelings, and this is just a summary. Donna slams down the shirt in front of him and declares Wendy is her niece, and they are gonna find what he did to her. They found this shirt in his van. He begins denying as she puts the pressure on him and screams not to lie to God. And he says while he has done wrong, he has never hurt anyone and begs her to believe him, his voice getting squeaky. She backs away, and despite the shirt, everyone believes him. Sam says it's absolutely possible that it could have been planted. Donna says if it's not the pastor, then who did it? Almost an answer, we see Dean and Doug enter into the truck stop, zeroing their eyes in on the cashier, who, by the way, we did get a name for earlier, but we're not going to dignify him with a name. He's just going to be the cashier. The guy gets immediately sarcastic with Dean. He starts getting rough, and when Doug questions him, he says, "This is how we do it in the FBI." Poor Doug. I know this all does lead to him finding out about the monsters and everything that happens later in the episode. But, like, this FBI officer in front of you is using force, and while I 100% may or may not allegedly believe that government doesn't tell us everything, yeah, this would be quite the experience. Regardless of if there was monsters or not. Putting literal pressure on the guy, he tells Dean he won't even believe him about where she is. We cut over to a website he brings up, live streaming the other gentleman that was taken earlier with a chat on the side of the screen. There's a bidding going on and people are betting to purchase the body parts of the man, selling him piece by piece. My stomach churns knowing that there are places like this that exist, and also knowing what the boys could have done with this scene. And yes, of course, in the end, this has a supernatural purpose, but in real life, there are plenty of monsters that are human. And I wouldn't doubt this happens in real life. Sam can't take anymore and turns the screen off. And when the cashier says, "Aw, are you vegan?" Doug whacks him in the head, saying, "That's how they do it in the FBI." The collective expressions of everyone around them deserves its own little moment right here. I wonder if Donna's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to be explaining this. Which, yeah, she is, because Dean calls it takeout for monsters, prompting Donna to tell Doug that they will talk about what that means. I should have just kept reading and not trying to go off my own head. And if you don't understand what that means, monsters are buying the parts online to eat. Doug's whole entire world is about to be shattered. The cashier is so smug as he sits there and tells them that whenever he sees someone come into the shop that he doesn't think anyone is going to miss, he gives them a call and gets paid for offering victims to the service. They ask him if he feels guilty, and he says so disgustingly confidently, "Sure, but you don't got bills?" Which we know later is absolutely a lie. He does probably enjoy every second of this. Maybe, just maybe, this one part I would like to be a moment in The Boys, an actual little tiny moment, maybe just with this cashier guy. Just close the door and turn around. Sam finds Wendy's stream, and we see her begging in a monotone, exhausted voice for anyone watching to please help her. Sam says he can't crack this dark web stuff, and only the real FBI could crack it. We cut to Donna giving Doug the whole Hunter talk, and telling him how sometimes she's one as well. Dean interrupts their conversation saying they have 42 minutes and they have places to go. We cut to them there, taking their assigned roles in the plan, outside the building. They all go in the building and Doug stays behind with the cashier handcuffed to one spot and Doug watching over him. Dean gives him a gun and proceeds with Donna. Oh yeah, Sam stayed outside to keep watch and is absolutely startled to see Agent Clegg, who says, "What did you think was gonna happen when you sent me a link to a website selling body parts? Of course I was gonna show up!" He and Sam go into the building as we cut over to Doug being picked apart by the cashier, doing his very best to get under his skin. We cut to the torture room and it's time for poor Wendy to be the one on screen as we see her dangling from the ceiling. Once again, happy, cheery music is playing in the background. Wendy is absolutely horrified as she watches him start to sharpen his blade. The music is distant now as we watch Dean and Donna walk through the building, music getting louder, hinting that they are almost there. They continue to follow the sound until they have been tricked. It was a radio all along. Back over to Doug with the cashier. The cashier is continuing to talk to Doug, saying, "Remember what they said about monsters?" And he reveals he is a vampire, breaking himself free of his restraint and attacking Doug. Doug just found out about monsters, and now he's being attacked by a vampire who, surprise, surprise, cuts his own wrist and puts the blood into Doug's mouth, turning him. Donna comes up upon him just in time with Dean to see him develop his fangs. He tells Donna he's hungry and tries to attack her. Dean immediately injects him with dead man's blood, which should knock him out for a while. Dean says he's gonna be okay and tells her there is a cure, the cashier cutting him off, saying he needs him for that part too. He says, "He got you," and Dean asks who. He says, "Clegg, man!" I love when I forget about the big twist and I know there's something going on with the character. Is it because they die? Is it because they're actually the bad guy? Who knows? I kind of had a feeling it was bad guy, but then again, I've already seen it, and I also just not going to share my feelings. Every feeling I have. The cashier tells him that he has Dean's brother, and when Dean asks where, the cashier says that they should have been a little bit nicer with him and that he does hold a grudge. And Dean responds by pulling out his blade. Actually, he says, "Bring it, Twilight," or "Bring it, Twilight." Boom. Donna shoots him in the knee. She says he better decide whether he wants to die fast or slow, aka give them where they are, or the slow part, aka not tell them and he dies slowly. Tell them he gets to die peacefully and quickly. We cut over to our boy Sam, tied to a table, and Clegg removing his jacket, a smug look on his face when he sees that Sam realizes where he is. By the way, the man in the outfit that we keep seeing is a separate person, as he is here being instructed by Clegg on, make sure you get a big wide shot angle with the camera. Clegg said as soon as he saw that fancy car they were driving, he knew who they were famous, and that they would be trouble for him. He tried to give them the preacher, but now it's on to plan B. When asked by Sam why he is doing this, he responds, because somebody has to. He tells them there are hundreds of thousands of monsters out there, and the ones that they get to meet are the ones that are either too mean, or too stupid, or too both to live in society, and that most monsters live among us, we don't even know it. They're normal people, and normal people have to eat. So that's where he comes in. He prevents a lot of casualties by taking the people that others won't miss and selling them off, instead of those people that buy from him going and killing their own victims, causing more and more and more death. Reminds me of how in real life, when we can use logical explanations to cover up crimes and make us feel better about it. Oh, well, the alternative, well, at least it's not this. I mean, it's an ethical dilemma. I mean, do we really want these monsters killing hundreds of thousands of people as well along with them? I mean, it could even be more. That people like him exist, they're able to get their food. And while, yes, of course, ultimately, at the end of the day is we don't do this. We can't just say, oh, they're monsters they don't deserve to eat, because here's a human harvesting for said monsters. Humans can be monsters just like other monsters, and I think one of the things this show points out is that sometimes humans are so sadistic and disgusting, while sometimes monsters look at our lovely boy Garth, can be shining pillars of what society should be. But yeah, Clegg is a terrifying villain because he very easily can convince people to do horrible things in the name of the greater good. Now that's never in real life, is it? Sam tells him to go to hell when he says he should be thanking him. He says, "I'll see you there," and lets him know that Dean won't be showing up. He declares it's showtime and puts on a pig mask. We see a cut of many different monsters sitting at their own computers, learning the very special auction that will happen that night. It will be of Sam Winchester, the famous hunter. And okay, if this was The Boys, I feel like right now what would happen is Sam would lose like a hand or a finger or something like that, and he would have to deal with, knowing them, it would be something like an ear or something absolutely funny, humiliating would happen to him, only for Jack to then fix it later on. But they would be able to have a few episodes with this comic relief injury, whatever that would be. I have a feeling that Sam would get a little bit of the Huey treatment, and I'd hope not, but I kind of sit here looking at this part thinking about how they would treat Huey, and I am absolutely not a stan for, especially the last season, how they have treated Huey. Disgusting. But yet I still kind of get that little bit of that vibe. You know what I mean? Doug is still sleeping in the car when Dean and Donna head into the building. They walk through the creepy warehouse, and Donna finds Wendy. Yay! Donna is smiling, beaming, but Wendy looks still concerned as Donna is whacked by the man in that costume. She gets him and fights him, stabbing him right in the gut. Sam's heart is climbing in value up to $500K when it is finally sold. Clegg turns around and tells Sam that since Dean is out there, this part won't go as it usually does, aka slow and painful. Quick and dirty is the way to do it this time. He gets out a gun and holds it to Sam's head, and Sam braces himself as we do hear a shot, and we assume it's Sam, but then instead we are brought with the look at Clegg's white shirt, the blood starting to pour through, and he falls to the ground, Dean standing behind him, having shot him and killing him. Big Brother Dean to the rescue, and sorry, monsters, I hope your PayPals were charged and that you lost all that money, suck it. Back at the hotel room, Doug is still sleeping on the couch, and when he comes to, Donna is right by him. Dean asks if he wants to bite anyone. In success, the cure worked. Donna undoes the handcuffs and says just like you, she's gonna be fine, when he asks about Wendy. Fine? I was bitten by a vampire, was his response. She says it was only for a couple of hours, and I think she's missing the point. But then again, I also think she feels the blow that's about to come, and she's trying to soften it and have him realize, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm so silly, I should stay. Dean tells Doug that now that he knows what's out there, it's really nice to have another good guy on their side, and Doug is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He pulls away from Donna, saying he can't live this life. She says she's sorry she lied, but she can't give this up. He whispers, I know, and calls her a hero. But it's not for him. I mean, he's valid, and I think as much as I would love to be like, oh, I would be with Supernatural and have so much fun. Yeah, no, I think in reality, this would be me saying, I'm sorry, I can't deal with that kind of risk, and I love you, but this isn't for me. And mad respect for him here, especially knowing the show and how things usually happen to people. Donna tries to stop him from leaving, but Sam explains everyone you love will get hurt, so let him go. It's how he's gonna stay safe. Insert here all the flashbacks, not actually in the show, but in my own head, of Dean with Ben and Lisa, of Sam with what's-her-face, I don't remember, and how he finally gets to be with Eileen. Donna is crying as we see the Impala leaving her behind. Dean calls Sam tough on Donna, and Sam says, was he wrong? He uses Kaya of an example how, yes, they get people saved, but they also get people killed. It's a recent wound here, and like I was saying earlier, I wish they allowed Wayward Sisters to be a show, because I feel like we could have somehow had Kaya in there and gotten some of her character and got to know her a little bit more, because you could feel when you met her, she was supposed to be so important, and then she just died. And can I remember right this second whether or not that was before or after they would have known the spinoff wasn't going to happen? I don't remember. Anyways, though, Sam reinforces no matter how much they pretend, it's the truth. This only ends in one way, and that's bloody. It ends bad. And that is the end of the episode. I really like this episode. It's definitely one that encourages growth and reflection on where the show has been, where these characters have been, and who they are as people. It gives us some ethical, moral quandaries to think about. And yeah, I've definitely thought about it. Like, what other ways would these monsters get food? And of course, there has to be many options. This is the kind of episode I could see having a little bit of a devil advocate conversation with your friend. Like I said, we would say that they're monsters, so just don't feed them, but that's not the response either. Donna losing Doug, I think, was absolutely the best outcome for him. He's gonna live. I don't think he would have lived. Absolutely not. He would have had some sort of a horrible death, and frankly, Donna is so lucky that he wasn't turned into a vampire permanently there. I agree with Sam in the end, and I also know and recognize where Dean is at this point. It's being foreshadowed, unknowingly to me at the time, that Dean is going to die at the end of this, and that he doesn't really get a future. And so I think it's also very interesting that here we have Dean talking about how there's still hope, there's still a future. He's the one that still always continues. He's not as pessimistic as Sam can be. And in the irony of it all, Dean is the one that dies, Sam is the one that gets to live on, so Sam is the one that thinks everything is going to end in blood, and that it never ends well. In the end, they're both right. It doesn't end well for Dean. And Sam does lose the person that he loves. But Dean's also not wrong either, because Sam gets to live a whole happy life dying with his son by his side. Dean tries to cling to all the little comforts, the things that make his life feel valuable, and Sam struggles to see it. Except for when Dean himself is in that kind of mode. The two of them kind of trade roles at different times. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and maybe a comment. Even just the thumbs up tells me you liked it. You have no idea how much it would mean to me. My goal with this channel is to bring you different passions that I have and ultimately be a little bit of an escape. Sometimes I get a little lonely, and it kind of helps too to talk to the camera like I'm talking to a friend about something that I really love. But with that, we are at the end, so I will say to you, stay safe and stand true to who you are. Thanks for watching. Bye!